our story is meant to be mentorship to somebody else. These are not my words, but Molly Trotter, all the way from the United States, today is with us. She's an amazing personality. And given the circumstances that we met, I can see we have a lot in common, because since the age of 14, she knew that she wanted to be on television. She told me that spotlight, adrenaline rush, and not know what stories would come up next. For the 5 years of her life, she was envisioned that as a child, whatever she wanted to be under the spotlight, but because of the politics involved and everything else, she struggled, not because she had no talent, not because she wasn't educated, not because she wasn't good enough to be there, but because she knew that she had a different vocation in life. She was in the industry almost 5 years, and she said that she was blessed only in these 5 years to do a few ESPN tournaments because it was so much fun. Can you imagine somebody who is on the screen and doing the news? She said that these tournaments were a huge eye-opener for her and the huge relief at the same time that she could be free to do whatever she wanted. The thing is, today we see a lot of people on the camera and we see a lot of people who leave. And what can we learn from these people? Today, I'm not here to tell you my story, but our wonderful and amazing and beautiful guest all the way from the United States, she's with us to tell us that how she's finding this strength, this power, and this motivation inside her, not to be the glamorous person that she thought was her dream, but to help others to make their dreams come true. And if you can do that, she's here not to share her story, but to tell each and every one of you if you are able to do it. So hi, Molly, welcome.
Hi, Natalie. Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Me too. I was just trying to do it my own way, you know, because it's like so effective, your story, and so amazing. And the way that you started to make others help to make their dreams come true. What can you tell us about that?
Well, you know, wanting to be in television since I was 14, I really just wanted to give the underdog a voice. And, you know, when you turn on the TV these days, it's just depressing. And I didn't want to be the face of that, but I just knew that there was a bigger purpose in me being able to help people really get clear on, you know, what is your story and how can that empower other people? And so being in the space that I'm in now, really being able to help coaches and consultants get clear on how they want to serve others and really be visible to the people out there looking for them brings such a joy to me, because there's a lot of people that have, like that quote you started with, our story is meant to be mentorship to somebody else. We have a lot that we can give if we choose to. It's how you package it up to show people this is how we can support you is the way that we love to do it here in our company. So I'm just feel really grateful and full of gratitude in order to be able to do that.
It's amazing. And when we see that the secret of being happy is by giving to others, and you have found that. You were on the news TV, right? You were on CBS.
Yes, a CBS anchor, reporter. I even did weather for a little bit, did some sports. So I dabbled into a lot of things.
And it's amazing when we just find that we can change our dreams. So if we're going to talk about dreams, and we're going to talk about you as a human being, as a person, and as a woman, precisely, that she was able to do that. A lot of people say, oh, she's pretty, she's gorgeous, she's already had her way, she has the contacts. But let's talk about women who did not have all that, let's say, contacts, because they say always over there and over here too, in Canada, in the States, everywhere, even in the Arab world, they say it doesn't matter what you know, is who you know.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you say to women out there who don't have the quote, who you know, in their lives? Can they change something in their lives?
Absolutely. You know, just because some people have looks doesn't mean they have it all set up. I had to work really hard. I remember times where I had to scrounge for change in order to put food on the table, becoming an entrepreneur and not knowing, like, okay, can I stay here or stay there? And I chose that life because I didn't want to go back into corporate. But at the end of the day, like when people make those excuses, oh, she's pretty, or she has the contacts, or she can do this, she can do that, that's just really them stopping themselves and giving them more reasons as to why they can't move forward. anybody can move forward if they want it bad enough. They're going to find a way, they're going to make a way, because we all have gifts and talents that we can really focus in on and be able to give that to other people. But so many people want to make excuses as to why they can't, or why they're not getting their break, or this and that. But the people who have made it have had to put real skin in the game and be able to sacrifice things. So if you're not willing to sacrifice things that you have now, don't expect you to go up later because you weren't willing to do what it takes.
Wow, that's amazing. So we're talking about sacrifices, and we're talking about not giving up. A lot of people we see in their lives that they do something and they want to change. So this shift of changing from one dream to another, how does it happen to people? What do you say? I mean, does it happen because they just realize they're not happy, or they get bored? What is this ingredient, according to Molly Trotter, not me? I mean, maybe we have different feelings, you know what I mean? I follow my heart. So I'm asking you, as Molly today, as the entrepreneur, as the person who changes people's lives and helps them to have the confidence to deliver their own messages through you and what you do. What is this feeling? Usually, what is that? What do they have inside?
I would say the biggest thing for me was I knew I was worth more than them putting me out on stories where I was in harm's way, worth more than, hey, we need to go out, you do a live shot at 11 p.m. at night and there's a murder on the loose, worth more than the peanuts, the little chump change money that they were paying me. I was just worth more than that. And there was more to life. I look at the news in my life, it was like I was a puppet on strings and they were the puppeteer. And I was tired of somebody calling those shots, where I finally just cut the strings and broke free. But so many people are like, well, I don't know what that's going to look like, because they haven't really stepped into knowing how expensive, and I put those air quotes there, they really are, because every single person has had history. They've had stories, experiences, ups and downs. And that's what makes you a life expensive. It's not worth cutting short. It's not worth selling yourself short. You really got to be able to maximize that, because the alternative is you just let it pass by and you're on your deathbed wishing you would have done more, but you have the time right now to be able to do more. So why not fail forward? I failed a lot of different times to figure out where I'm best at. And I'm right here in it now. And it took me a couple years to get here, but it's worth every up and down, every heartbreak, in order for me to be where I am right now and being able to give to people the way I love to.
Do you think that in some ways it's like finding your own self through what you're doing today? Did Molly find herself through what she's doing today? Is she?
Absolutely. I definitely learned so much. And probably in the last year, I've learned more about myself spiritually, financially, professionally, personally. I mean, all of the above. And it's amazing, because there's been growth in all of those areas, because I just took it head on. I knew it was coming. I felt it coming. It's been draining at times, sure, but at the end of the day, it builds character, and it's able to grow your capacity. And a lot of people don't want to do that because it is hard. But at the end of the day, it's like you have to choose your hard. You're either broke without a purpose, or you go through the grind in order to get the things that you want.
When you say that there is fear, what do you think that most people fear? When you say, you now today, as I say always, I say, I failed in this, I failed in that. You have the courage to say that I have failed. I say it too. I say, I have failed in this thing. I have failed in this thing. I failed in my first marriage. Now I'm happy. We use the word fail. Do you think that this is the taboo? This is the label, that fears people when they are not accepting to say the word. Once they say, they will pass over and become stronger. Does it help?
That is a great question. Fear, attacks people.
Because I got it, what are you saying? Like, okay, I catch the phrase, I'm going to ask a question.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I mean, fear and failure, obviously they go hand in hand, and it looks different and it weighs different on different people. I used to be afraid to fail. I used to be afraid to put myself out there. What will people think? Am I going to rock the boat? I don't know if this is going to be accepted. And now I'm like, forget all of that. Like, I want to rock the boat. I want people to say, you know what, I connect with you, or I don't. It doesn't matter if everybody connects with you, because your story and who you are, how you show up, isn't going to connect with everybody. So people just get that stigma because they don't want to be alone. But when you decide to stray away from the pack and not do what everybody else does, there are some lonely parts, but that's where your circle gets smaller and you find those people that really empower you. They're on that same journey, so you can have those moments to, refuel and recharge.
Wow. Amen to that. I love the word. When you say wreck the boat, and you said you connect with yourself, but it's a very beautiful sentence you said. And I don't know what advice you give our audience, because I want to just let them hear what you have to say about when you said that stray away from the pack. When you do that and you know who your really friends are. So do you think that, I mean, honestly, I mean, I'm here for over 11 years in Canada. I'm Canadian, Armenian, Lebanese. So I feel like the society thing that you're talking about, I thought that it only just exists in the Arab world, in Lebanon, you know, in our societies. But now I feel that through the expressions that you're saying, it even exists here, because you're saying like, okay, when you just not be a part of that group, like everybody expects you to be. So even like, because from their point of view, when you see United States or Canada or others, I mean, the Middle Eastern mentality, when they see the West, they feel like the society is very open and they don't criticize and they don't talk about you, and you're like very free person to do whatever you want and nobody says anything about it, no comments. But I feel that I realize that you're not saying that. You're saying it's like similar to our culture in the Middle East.
I think we all have a lot of similarities. There is a lot of turmoil. There's a lot of animosity. There's a lot of friction here. And I'm sure we have more freedoms here than in other countries. Absolutely. And I'm super grateful for that. I love living in America for that. However, there are a lot of people that want to please other people that don't want to rock the boat, people that are just too afraid and scared. But America is built on entrepreneurs. It's built on people putting themselves out there, you know, failing over and over and over again until they hit that one, because they know that they have a big dream and they're not going to stop until they get there. I came from a family of no entrepreneurs. And when I decided to get out of news and go the entrepreneur route, I got a lot of criticism from a lot of people.
Wow.
How could you do that? Why would you do that? And I'm like, you never even asked me if I was happy. And they're like, yeah, we did. I'm like, no, you didn't. And so now that I'm on this path, like I felt like I was so alone from a lot of friends and family, because they didn't choose to understand. They didn't seek to understand. I just did it on my own, because I'm like, you guys don't understand my vision, because God didn't give my vision to you, He gave it to me. So whether you're on my boat or not, I'm still going to keep going forward no matter what the cost. And so my determination, 3.5 years out of the news industry, now I'm in a place where the abundance is flowing. I just got married. I mean, there's so many amazing things that have been happening, but there is a lot of backlash, especially here in America. Everybody's entitled, quotes, to their opinion, right? So people are on social media sharing their opinion, but if you say something that somebody doesn't like, you know, then you create this animosity and this, like, there's a lack of respect for people that have differences of opinion here in America, in my opinion. I'll post something and somebody will be like, I don't believe in that. Stop saying that. And people will normally stop. If somebody says for them to stop, they feel bad. They don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. They don't want to rock the boat. I'm the opposite. I'm like, I'll light a fire to that, make it grow into a big wildfire, and make sure that people know, like, you're not going to silence me because you're uncomfortable. Like, I'm not hurting anybody. I'm being respectful. And you have to be able to put yourself out there and be able to take on and deal with those haters and people who don't like it, because not everybody's going to be your people. And so that's where it comes into really making sure that that circle is small and you get away from the pack. And the pack is the people who just want to bring you down, negativity. They want to do what everybody else is doing. If you really want to make an impact on the world, you've got to be able to not be afraid to go off and do your own thing.
Wow. Congratulations, first of all. I'm happy.
Oh, thank you.
How was married life?
Thank you. It's been amazing. Super excited for it.
Yeah, it's amazing. If you know what I think that marriage is good because you have to have a partner to share everything with. Mm-hmm. And if you succeed in what you're doing, everything is good. But if you don't succeed, it's okay. You pass and you change, and whatever comes next, whatever the life throws at us. You were talking about the things that, in a way, that you're saying that when we say things, let's say in America, when you say things, when you post things, people just attack. So how does it make you feel? Because from what we know, mostly it's like free speech over there, and everybody can say anything they want. But so it's like something related to controversy and contradiction, what they are saying most of the time, and what is happening. Because where is the free speech when a part can say something and the other part doesn't, and they attack? So is it like entitled to certain people? or certain
That's a great question. I know here, like looking at Facebook and YouTube and Instagram, they're now starting to block certain things that don't fit in their guidelines, and they're actually starting to retract certain things that are happening in the world if they feel like you're putting out false information. So that's a first sign of like, uh-oh, they're trying to really rain down and not give us that right. But there are people out there where they're just, again, too scared to put themselves out there and share how they really feel, in fear of people don't understand or they'll attack them. So right now we're seeing a lot of that. I see a lot on my social media feeds of people sharing their faith and politics. And those are the two things that we've always been told, don't share, keep it to yourself. Well, if you don't share, those are two really important things. If you don't share where you're at, then you could be, you know, building a fan base or a following or people based on not who you really are, if that makes sense. A lot of people put out what they think people want, not who they really are. And then they're like, nobody really gets me. Well, because you're not being true. You're not being authentic. So there are going to be people that are going to say, hey, I don't like that. Stop saying it. And you got to make the choice of, are you going to let them stop you when they say that? Or are you going to keep going and speaking your truth? And here's my thing. You just have to be respectful. If you disagree with somebody, be respectful. Respectfully disagree. That's what makes the world great, is we can have differences of opinion, but you have to be respectful about it. And if you're not, then keep your mouth shut because that's just going to start a war and a fire that doesn't need to be started.
When you say respectfully disagree, and let's say you respectfully disagree and you get a reaction which is very strong and very disrespectful, then what do you suggest people would do in that situation? What would you do? Because you are polite and they keep on bullying, because they say like, they come like, oh, she's doing it because she's weak, because their understanding of respect is weakness most of the time. And that's what I realized. I realized this in all societies, because when you just don't respond, they say it's not out of being polite or the way that she's respecting herself. Oh, because she's weak, she has no answer. And that's when I go crazy, you know, like, seriously, what the hell? So what do you have to say about it, Molly?
That is such a great question, because you will get those bullies. You will get those people that want to poke at you to see, is she going to crack? Is she going to go off on me? Is she going to be, you know, a person of her word, is really what I'm getting at. And if somebody just goes off on you after that, you have to know and have an awareness of being like, all right, this has nothing to do with me. You have some things you need to work through. So I'm going to be like, I wish you all the best. And that's always what I say. I wish you the best. I leave it at that. I don't, sure, inside of me, there might be some rage and anger. I'm like, oh my gosh, how dare they? I'm human. But how I choose to respond, you got to be respectful back, being like, I wish you all the best. And if it's something really rude and obnoxious, or they keep messaging you, block is a beautiful button. But don't stoop to their level because they have anger, fear, hatred in their heart. Like, shower them with grace and be like, you know what? I wish you all the best. I'm going to walk away from this. Like, I'm good. But you just keep it short and sweet. But people get into these rants and it's just fueling the fire of fear and anger, and it doesn't get anywhere.
You know, you just came up with a very important word that you used it earlier. I want to go there because whatever you're saying, it's very much connected to that word. And you said that people are scared to bring out the idea of their own faith. And this is true. I mean, we have reached the phase that we are scared to bring out the faith in us and say, oh, this is what I believe in, this is me, and regardless of politics. So the words that you're using are so much concentrated on a person who has strong faith. So how much do you think that people out there who want to make their dreams come true have to concentrate on their faith? And how much will help faith to get through the phases and make their dreams come true?
You ask amazing questions. I love it. But that's just because we're used to it. We're good at, like, you know, being able to
back and forth like tennis, you know.
I love it. It's so good because you really pay attention. And so that's where really, you know, good revelation comes out of. And to answer your question, faith has a huge part in it, because if you don't have faith, you're always going to be fearful of what next, or what's happening out there, or I don't want to go outside because the virus is still there, you know, all these different things. But you got to have faith to know that it's so much bigger than you and in the present moment. There's a lot of other powers that be. There's a lot of stuff that's going on behind the scenes that a lot of people don't know about, and that makes people fearful. And it's like, my foundation and what I believe and, you know, my faith in God is so strong that Nobody can knock it down. Even if I was held to gunpoint, like, I will not waver, because I know exactly where I'm going and I know exactly what I believe, and nobody can tell me otherwise. And so at the end of the day, like, people are just so, like, afraid of the unknown. But my relationship with God is a personal experience and things that I've been through because I've been open. And so whether you believe or not believe, that's, 100% your thing. I'm not here to preach down your throat, but it does play a huge part in my success. It plays a huge part in my confidence, my patience, and who I am as a person, and what has been attracted to me, because I just learned you got to shrink again. I'm going to keep talking about shrink that circle and the people that you surround yourself with, because what you hear and what goes in here is the most important thing. What you watch on Netflix or watch on social media, what you listen to music wise, is it empowering you, or is it poking the bear to, like, stir up some kind of rage or anger or fear in you, which a lot of things are?
Well, you know what you said? I just put this in my book at the beginning of my novel, Mask, is surround yourself with the few who know your true self.
That's so good.
That's how I wrote it. I'm like, oh my God, she's saying the words, because we understand, I mean, in the world of journalism, 17 years back in Lebanon and Middle East, I just understood what you're saying, because it, like, makes so much sense to us. It's like, even when we come from different journalism worlds, you and me, but we just click, and I just feel like we home to the same place, because we understand and we know that it's not about the quantity of people around us, and it's very hectic. And I just realized from my words, correct me if I'm wrong, Molly Trotter today is saying that to overcome her fear, she uses her faith as a shield, something like that. I mean, because
Perfectly said. Perfectly said. That's beautiful.
I'm very well trained journalist.
You're listening in between the lines, if you will. You're like, you didn't say this, but you are saying this, and this is what it is, for the viewers that haven't caught it. So I love that.
Yeah, because you just said, because you said, when I go out, let's say there's a gun on my head. I don't care. I have God. Whenever I'm going to, I have God. So it's like you are overstepping fear. And this is amazing, this is an amazing episode we're doing, and it's very powerful. I mean, all my episodes, I love my guests. They are all unique. They have something to give to my audience. But this is the first time, I mean, I have on my show a TV host just like me that I have been. And I think that in some ways we have a message to give, and through you, you're giving your word to the world, that being a part of the celebrity world or literary, it's not everything when you shine, but you have darkness inside. You are just giving others inspiration, because you are helping others to shine. So you are creating stars. You are creating, and I think that this is very important, and it is very amazing, because we see a lot of people do this to be on TV. You did TV and came back. Like, I did TV, now I'm a coach, I'm an author, award-winning author, I write books. So it's like makes a lot of difference, because you want to change people's lives. So when you go to bed at night, what is the thing that you are most thankful for?
I would say the thing I'm most thankful for is just being able to have another day to be able to help people get clarity, be able to empower people, being like, hey, it's okay. Do it scared. Just make that step forward. I know there's a lot of questions that you have, but you'll never know unless you just put yourself out there. You put yourself out there enough times, and you're going to figure out what way you want to go and which way you don't. So I wake up, or I go to bed really grateful, and just being like, thank you for the day. And just know that, kind of set myself up for the next day. What do I need to do to pour back into me in order for me to be set to pour into other people? Because people like you and I, we're constantly pouring out our cup into others because we love to. But I have to make sure at the end of the day, one, I give thanks. I'm grateful to the Lord, grateful to everything that I have, all the things I've been given. But then how do I pour back into me, whether that's devotions, meditation, taking deep breaths, going for a walk, whatever that is, to be able to just slow it down. Because it's when you constantly pour out, sometimes you're the last person that gets anything. And there's so many people that do that, but you have to constantly check in, because if you don't, you're just going to keep running. And then all of a sudden you're going to crack. And then you're going to wonder, like, well, wait, where did that come from? Well, you suppressed all the things that you needed because you're so busy taking care of other people. So that's really how I decompress at the end of the day. And then I can sleep soundly, wake up, do it again.
Wow. So you're literally saying that don't give up. But what should they do in order not to avoid this cracking up situation and to get up with the same enthusiasm that you're telling me that you get up every day? What is your advice to our audience? What should they do? What is the secret key? What is your ingredient that you use?
It's pre-planning. It's knowing what you need and then knowing what the next day is going to look like before the day comes. So the day before, I always have, okay, here's my calendar. These are the things that I have going on the next day. I fill in the gaps to make sure whatever else is on my to-do list gets done. But when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is pour into me. I jump into devotions, get my mind right. I work out in the morning. And then after that, because I've taken care of me, then it's time for other people. And then at the end of the day, same thing. I take care of me. So I start and end my day with taking care of myself. And in the middle, you know, make sure you prioritize and really plan, like, how are you going to make this day the best that you can? What do you want to get out of it? And that's the best advice I can give to people, because so many people just wake up and then they just let the day happen. Now you need to go out there with a plan, being like, I'm going to do blah, blah, blah with my day, and then be able to make sure that gets done. And if it doesn't because you ran out of time or something happens, don't worry. Being flexible is a key part to change in life, entrepreneurship, or whatever it is that you want to do. But you have to make sure that you're just intentional and making sure that, you know, things get done. So whether you're working in a corporate job and you want to eventually have your own business, you have time in the morning and time in the evening where you're not sleeping, not working, that you can make that happen. You're going to be tired. It's going to be rough sometimes, but you got to do it because you have a bigger vision. And that's what I had to do. I had to work on things in my off hours. I got a lot of hate for it. A lot of like people just being like, stop, why are you doing that? Knock it off. Because again, they didn't see my vision. But you have to be married to your vision in order for that to happen. No one's going to give it to you.
Wow. My last question before, it's amazing. I mean, having you, I can talk with you for hours and hours.
Yeah.
But this question, before you give your message to our audience, that when you say you can do it, I want to ask you, if Molly Trotter today goes back and meets Molly Trotter, 14 years old, and you see her, I mean, it's something imaginative, okay? But I'm just saying, I mean, what would you have to say to her? What do you think Molly, 14 years old, would say to you, and what would you respond to her?
Don't worry about pleasing everyone. Wow. I was a people pleaser for so long that it stopped me from really hearing my own voice and being able to know what I wanted, because I wanted to please others. So that's what I would say, because I wouldn't change my trajectory. I wouldn't have changed my history, I should say, to what I went through to where I am today. But stop being a people pleaser. Don't worry about it. Some people are for you. Some people are not. Some people are just here for a season, and that's okay. Just let it happen the way it needs to happen.
Wow. So you said stop pleasing everyone. So we can get it in a way that's the key that you're using with your shield of faith to make dreams come true, right?
Right.
Amazing. So it was a wonderful, 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 wonderful conversation. And I know that our audience are going to be inspired a lot from you. And I always say in my show that you can do it. And if Molly Trotter can do it, they can do it too. Everyone who is watching us. So, my dear Molly, what is your advice to our audience today through the show You Can Do It? What do you say?
I would say don't let other people's fear and opinions stop you from moving forward and what makes you light up. We all have a purpose set inside of us, but some of us answer that call, but a lot of us shut that door because we're too scared of what that's going to look like big picture, and we can't see it 5, 10, 15 years from now. Don't let people's fears and opinions just clamp on and choke the life out of your dream, because you have that for a reason. So go for it. Whatever hours, whatever minutes, little cracks of the day that you can make that happen just to get 1% better every day, do that. And that 1% will eventually add up to having the life that you actually enjoy living, that you could be proud of.
Wow. Thank you so much. This is Molly Trotter with you, our guest from all the way United States. And I will see you next time. Thank you for being with us. I'm Nataly Restokian, and I wish you all the best. And don't forget what Molly said. Don't please everyone, guys. So bye-bye.